Hi, my dear students. Welcome to science class. I am Ullas Reddy, your science class teacher. You already know about the basic components of science, and before this, we discuss about whatever the topics are there in science, like a cell and its organelles. In this today class, we are discussing about nutrition in plants. It is a chapter 1, nutrition in plants. You already have a previous knowledge about it means basic knowledge about nutrition in plants and what is meant by food and components of food and what is meant by nutrition and what are the process are there in the plants. In this chapter we know about more knowledge about the nutrition in plants. See students, nutrition means nutrients are nothing but the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals are components of food. These components of food are necessary for our body and are called nutrients. Then what is meant by nutrition? The second concept, what is meant by nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. So these two definitions are very important and you must know about this. So nutrients are nothing but the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Totally we are called that as a components of food. And these components are necessary for our day-to-day life and to lead the life process. So these are all called as nutrients. And so like that, nutrition means intaking of food and that is utilized for the life process. That process is roughly we called as a nutrition. So also we consider this as a nutrition is the mode of taking food by an organism and its utilization by the body. So these all points you must write in your science fair notes, students. Then next concept, autotrophs. Definition says autotrophs. Autotrophs means the mode of nutrition in which organisms make food themselves from simple substance is called autotrophs. Means all plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. You already know about this. With the help of sunlight, chlorophyll, water, carbon dioxide, like that. So that process is called autotrophs. Means it means self. Then tropos means nourishment, nutrition. Therefore, the plants are called autotrophs. And another definition is there, heterotrophs. Means the which organisms are not depend on another organisms for the food purpose. So that are animals and most other organisms take in ready-made food prepared by the plants. They are called heterotrophs. Hetero, it means other. Means heterotrophs are nothing but the these organisms are depend on another organisms for the food purpose. That are considered as a heterotrophs. So autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs it means they are prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. Means prepare their own food themselves. They are called autotrophs. Then heterotrophs are nothing but they are depend on the plants for food purpose. So these two definitions are very important for the next concepts. Students, in that autotrophs, the very important process is photosynthesis process, and the heterotrophs are nothing but the animals, animals, microorganisms like that, all are called as heterotrophs. Then we must know about the cells. What is meant by cell? It is a structural and functional unit of the body. So that is considered as a cell. Structural and functional unit of the body. You have seen that building are made of bricks. Similarly, the bodies of living organisms are made of tiny units called cells. Cells can be seen only under the microscope. Some organisms are made of only one cell. The cell is enclosed by a thin outer boundary called cell membrane, and most cells have a distinct centrally located spherical structure called nucleus, and the nucleus is surrounded by a jelly-like structure called cytoplasm. This cell diagram you already know about this, and from your previous classes you already have a more knowledge about the cells and types of cells and what are the function of cell and cell organelles are there. So particular organ perform a particular function. That function is very necessary for our life processes. So dear students, you know about the cell. The cell are divided into plant and animals also. Next one, the photosynthesis process. The food making process in plants. Living leaves are the food factories of plants. The synthesis of food in plants occur in leaves. Then carbon dioxide from air is taken in through the tiny pores present on the surface of leaves. These pores are surrounded by guard cells. Such as pores are called as stomata. You already know about the stomatas. Stomata, it means a plural word. Then stoma is a singular word. Here, in this reaction, the carbon dioxide is react with the water with the help of sunlight and chlorophyll. It releases the carbohydrate plus oxygen. It is a process called as photosynthesis process. It's a very important for your examination. The photosynthesis process is nothing but the plants use the carbon dioxide with the help of water and with the help of sunlight, then chlorophyll. It releases the carbohydrate and oxygen. In this diagram, you all know about in this diagram, you observe this. So leaves, on the surface of leaves, the chlorophyll, then guard cells are there, then the opening structure are called stomata. Then the leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll. It helps leaves to capture the energy of the sunlight. You already know about why all leaves are in green color. It means nothing but the chlorophyll is present in that. Then this energy is used to synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water. Since the synthesis of food occur in the presence of sunlight, it is called photosynthesis. Photo, it means light. Then synthesis, it means to combine. Photosynthesis is a process which plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, then water. Okay, so the leaves have a green pigment called chlorophyll. The chlorophyll is the pigment, is the reason for the color of the green of the leaves. Okay, the energy is synthesize food from carbon dioxide and other. Then beside the leaves, photosynthesis also takes place in other green parts of the plant, in green stems and green branches. The desert plants have scale or spine-like leaves to reduce loss of water by transpiration. These plants have green stems which carry out photosynthesis. Okay, so in this diagram you are learning about that. These are the desert plants. Okay, so desert plants have a scale or spine-like leaves to reduce the loss of water. If surface is flat, it means the loss of water is increases. So for that reduce the loss of water, the spine-like and the scale-like structures are occur on the surface of the plant, which are present in the desert location. Dear students, so you already see this plant in a desert places, and aloe vera also one of the plant. Then next one, diagram showing that photosynthesis process. See that the sun rays are fall down on the leaf surface, which are the location of the stomata. Opening of closing stomata is a process perform the exchange of gases. Then carbon dioxide and oxygen is utilized for the photosynthesis process. Then chlorophyll is there, and the minerals are present in the soil that is utilized for this food purpose. And the growth of the plant need this light energy. So light energy is nothing but the photosynthesis process. Photosynthesis process is nothing but all plants prepare their own food with the help of sunlight. It means light energy, carbon dioxide, then chlorophyll, then water is present in the soil, then minerals. So these all perform that photosynthesis process. Then the leaves other than green also have chlorophyll. The large amount of red, brown and other pigments mask the green color. Photosynthesis takes place in these leaves also. If the leaf are not in a green color, it means that leaf have a chlorophyll, but the color of the leaves are changed. It means it contains a chlorophyll. For example, the red leaves contains a phycoerythrin, then brown leaves contain a xanthophyll. Like that, the pigments are different. So however, the leaves are in a different color, but the leaf have a chlorophyll. What are the main function of chlorophyll? it means nothing but it is necessary for the photosynthesis process. If the chlorophyll doesn't present in the leaf, it means that plant is not fit for the preparation of the food. The chlorophyll is necessary for the preparation of the food. Remember this anywhere. So all leaves contains a chlorophyll pigment, but with the other pigments also there. That is the reason for the change of color of leaves. Then you often see slimy green patches in ponds or in other stagnant water bodies. These are generally formed by the growth of organisms called algae. So you heard that algae? So algae is nothing but the mass and liverworts. So like that, can you guess why algae are green in color? They contain chlorophyll. So that's all, which gives them the green color. Algae can also prepare their own food by photosynthesis. Why? Because the chlorophyll is present in that algae. Means the algae is present in the marshy places like that pond, lake, like that. So in Kannada you call that as a pachi. Okay, so that is called algae. And the 50% means algae are means release the 50% of oxygen to the ecosystem. Remember this, in our ecosystem the algae produces more than 50% of oxygen to the ecosystem. Then in algae, brown algae are there, red algae are there, green algae are there, lot of types are there in that algae. So here they contain a chlorophyll and which gives them the green color. Then other modes of nutrition in plants. Here are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize their food. How do they survive, and from where do they derive nutrition like humans and animals? Such plants depend on the food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Yellow tubular structures winning around the stem and branches of this is a plant called Cuscuta amarbel. It does not have a chlorophyll. This is a plant doesn't has a chlorophyll. It takes a ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. The plant on which it climbs is called host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, Cuscuta is called as parasites. Parasites are nothing but these are want a ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. The plant on which it climbs is called the host cells. Host means it depend on directly to the plants, directly on the plants. These are the other modes of nutrition in plants is nothing but the host and parasites. Students, here are some plants which do not has a chlorophyll. That plants also prepare their food. Means not with the help of photosynthesis process, they directly depend on the plants. It means they attach on the plants and that utilize for the means the plants bodies are utilized for this food. So next, the pitcher plant. See this, the pitcher plant showing lid and pitcher. Okay, so the pitcher like structure is called modified part of the leaf. The apex of the leaf form a lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Inside the pitcher, so this is a plant. Pitcher, it means it's a plant. Means inside the pitcher there are a hair which are directed onwards. When an insect lands in the pitcher, the lid closes and the trapped insect get entangled into the hair. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the pitcher. Such insect eating plants are called insectivorous plants. See this in the diagram. This pitcher plant has a cap-like structure. They're called lid. When the insect is enter into into that leaf modified into pitcher, so the lid will be closes, and after that the insect will be died in that. So they suck the whatever juices are there in that insect, and that juice is utilized for that nutrition. Then saprotrophs, another type of nutrition is called saprotrophs. So cotton like thread spread on the piece of bread are called fungi. You already know about this. So in a winter season, so a lot of food has the small thread like structures on the surface of that materials. So that is called as fungi. Means cotton-like threads spread on the piece of bread are called fungi. They have a different mode of nutrition. They secrete digestive juices on the dead and decaying matter and convert it into a solution. Then they absorb the nutrients from it. This mode of nutrition in which organisms take in nutrients in solution form from dead and decaying matter. Dead and decaying means when the animals and plants will be died, that is decayed, is called saprotrophic nutrition. Saprotrophic, it means the nutrients in a solution form from dead and decaying matter is called what? Saprotrophic nutrition. The plants which use saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. See this in this diagram. So small thread-like structures are occur on the surface of the bread. That small thread-like structures are considered as a fungi. Then symbiotic relationship. Some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrients. This is called symbiotic relationship. For example, certain fungi live on the roots of the trees. The tree provides nutrients to the fungus and in return receives help from it. Take up water and nutrients from the soil. This association is very important for the tree. See this in this diagram. Fungi living in the roots of the trees. Symbiotic relationship is nothing but some organisms live together and share shelter and nutrition. So host and some organisms are live with the help of together, and this is called a symbiotic relationship. Means it depends on one and another. For example, the certain fungi live in the roots of the trees, means the tree want a decaying matter, that is nothing but this symbiotic relationship. It means the fungi want a roots and root also want a fungi. So like that. So how nutrients are replenished in the soil? Replenished means nothing but the nutrients is utilized for the growth of the plant. Again, the minerals and nutrients are how it's recycled to the soil. So this concept is called how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Usually crop require a lot of nitrogen to make proteins. After the harvest, the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen, which is available in a plenty in the air. Plants cannot use it in as they need nitrogen in a soluble form. See this? Usually the crops require a lot of nitrogen to make up proteins. After the harvest, the soil becomes a deficient in nitrogen. It means after the harvest, the soil is not has a lot of nitrogen content in that. So in that air, plants cannot use it as they need nitrogen in a soluble form. The bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a soluble form. But rhizobium cannot grow, make its own food. So it lives in the roots of gram, peas, mung, beans and other legumes and provide them with the nitrogen. So next students, most of the pulses means dals are obtained from leguminous plants. In return, the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. They thus have a symbiotic relationship. This association is of great significance for the farmers. They do not need to add nitrogen fertilizer to the soil in which leguminous plants are grown. Leguminous plants are nothing but the small like balloon-like structures are attached to the roots, and that is called as rhizobium. So like that means structures are give a lot of nutrients to the roots, and from the roots to the tip of the tree, means the plant utilize that all nutrients for their growth, and it give a more yield to the farmer. So like that, the most of the pulses are obtained leguminous plants. Then in return, the plants provide food and shelter to the bacteria. So all these points write in your science fair notes, students, and after that, so you must learn about these all concepts, and if you write all these points in your fair notes and read well. So dear students, in this today's class we are discuss about the nutrition in plants, what is meant by nutrition, what is meant by saprotrophic nutrition, then heterotrophic nutrition, autotrophic nutrition, what is meant by photosynthesis process, like that. So dear students, in the next class we discuss about another concept. Thank you.